platform feels like a symptom of loneliness. Like, people want company.
I actually watch your streams every fucking day, just so I don't feel lonely.
I'm addicted to forming parasocial relationships with female streamers on Twitch, especially the Asian ones.
The internet that was once an escape from real life has become a platform embodying an ongoing epidemic of loneliness. In my last video, I explored the virtual companionship sites like OnlyFans provided to mostly lonely men. And as many of you pointed out, these pseudo-relationships span across the entirety of the internet. Live streaming on platforms like Twitch closely emulates the dynamic of friendship and community between viewers and streamers, creating the illusion of a social relationship. Viewers are drawn to streamers' personalities and for the opportunity to interact with them, even if they are limited to only using a chat box. A live stream broadcast is not designed for one-on-one interactions. It's designed for an audience. So in trying to make sense of this gap, I decided to interview a few streamers, some large, some small, as well as viewers of theirs in order to explore their perspective on the strange social landscape created by live streaming. I've also volunteered myself as a test subject of sorts as both a streamer and a viewer to better understand the psyche on both sides of the screen. When it comes to these screens and the way we interact with them, the relationships between people often shift from being social to parasocial. The term parasocial invokes images of a creepy, fiendish parasite latching onto you, sucking out your blood and showing no remorse for whatever damage it may inflict. And in some ways, that's an accurate description. The term was first used by psychologists in the 1950s in reference to the media at the time. Long before live streaming on the internet was popular, television shows, movie stars, and radio personalities played a similar role in captivating the attention of viewers and listeners, who were often drawn in because on some level they felt some connection with the broadcasters.
Where I'm going, you can't follow. What I've got to do, you can't be any part of. Ilza, I'm no good at being noble, but it doesn't take much to see that the problems of three little people don't amount to a hill of beans in this crazy world.
In effect, those forms of media were creating a similar environment to what the live streamers of today are. A performative, one-sided form of communication that doesn't facilitate social reciprocity. What I mean by that is, as a viewer, you watch a streamer over the course of many hours, days, or even years. You listen to what the streamer has to say, maybe you even grow to like their personality, and maybe you care for them as you would care for a friend. And yet, the streamer knows next to nothing about you, and does not share the same level of interest in you. And how could they? To them, you're primarily just a name in a chat box. It's easy to forget that behind these names are real, live people.
Yeah, I feel like if I'm watching, you know, like Ninja or Shroud or someone like that, I'm watching a show. Whereas if I'm watching Asmongold, I'm watching a person.
Live streaming attracts viewers for two main reasons: entertainment and interaction. Larger streams with tens of thousands of viewers tend to crank the entertainment factor all the way up, but it comes at the cost of interaction with viewers. So what kind of social environment do smaller streams facilitate?
I did get a wig, yes. I, occasionally do this thing called a hair worn stream, where chat gets to choose, the color of wig.
Streamers who only have, 10 people in their chat, you actually, for the most part, you become more of akin to friends, if you will.
If you're a massive streamer, you're getting that quadruple average digits. Even if you want to get to know your chat's going brrr, you can't even... It becomes really difficult for you. When you're small, you got two guys in your chat, and that's their name, just repeating over and over and over again. So whether you want to or not, you could be like, yo chat, what do you think? But it's those two guys, you're reading their names over and over again. You're going to eventually see them as yeah, that's that guy. Gamer57, that's him. I'm slowly starting to get to know him.
With smaller streams, it feels more like a group of people hanging out rather than just getting lost in the abyss of lulls and stuff, mostly. But I'm a really
I feel cozy person when it comes to my stream, and I'm open and honest, and I think people really like that. Like, I'm not putting on an act, I'm just an exaggerated version of myself.
Kazooie Girl and BobberWCC are both smaller streamers with active communities. By talking to them and their viewers, I got the sense that they were using the site with a mutual interest in forming meaningful relationships within these live streaming communities.
It's a great way to meet friends, but not actually like be stuck there if it's an awkward situation.
So it's like almost a social outlet for you, sounds like.
Oh yeah, I stay in my room like 24/7. I rarely try to get out.
I prefer to watch also small streamers like Bobber, where the community can be really small.
Kazooie Girl also shared insight into the strange expectations new viewers have, and how Twitch as a platform seems to cater to sex appeal-based streamers over gaming-based streamers.
I do find Twitch definitely favors them over female gaming streamers, if you want to put it, and it is extremely frustrating. I try not to voice my frustrations over it because I think a lot of people are definitely defensive about like titty streamers and saying they're doing nothing wrong and stuff. Women should be allowed to express their bodies, but I do think there's other places for that, and it's giving Twitch a bad name.
In recent years, Twitch has made itself a welcome platform to more sexualized female streamers. The popularization of streamer girls who use their sex appeal as the main draw for viewers seems to bring upon unintended consequences to gamer girls like Kazooie Girl, who have absolutely no intentions of advertising themselves sexually or playing into that type of fantasy at all, and yet that seems to be what viewers on Twitch have been conditioned to expect from all girl streamers.
If I wear like Twitch merch out in public, people will ask me, are you a streamer? And I'll say yes, and they'll be like, oh, are you like one of those streamers? That's like the first question I get. And that's just what Twitch has become now.
While making this video, a fascinating case study directly tied to the abundance of suggestive streamers and parasocial relationships has come to light, and it's worth taking a deep dive into. A hardcore Twitch viewer, Eric Estavillo, filed a civil suit against the site, seeking $25 million for regular exposure to suggestive streamers, provided by Twitch. It's also worth noting that he's sued Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, and Blizzard in the past, and he's won none of those cases. Interestingly, in the complaint, it is stated that Eric suffers from depression, OCD, panic disorder, agoraphobia, Crohn's disease, and sex addiction. Due to this, he spends all day viewing Twitch streams, following a whopping 786 female streamers and 0 male streamers. He asserts that Twitch has exacerbated his condition by constantly displaying suggestive streamers to him, which he can't avoid being exposed to when online. It doesn't take a lawyer to figure out that lawsuits such as this one hold no legal weight, but it does serve as an interesting form of activism. Interestingly, this lawsuit, which ultimately is a statement of the power certain female streamers have over men, comes out around the same time as Twitch and YouTube's very own Me Too movement of sorts, wherein dozens of girls in these communities are sharing their stories and ousting men who were allegedly involved in sexual misconduct. A few Twitch streamers have already been banned as a result of these stories coming out. Online platforms certainly make for a strange and tumultuous type of social dynamic. While more meaningful social interactions do occur amongst smaller streams, one of the most popular streamers on Twitch, Asmongold, has a more unique approach, making a point of trying to facilitate as much social reciprocity between him and his viewers as possible.
Alright, Asmon, you take ads then.
Oh, I'm taking ads?
You'll take the ads, then Rob.
Fuck, man.
Encouraging interaction and community events despite having tens of thousands of viewers.
I think a differentiation here that you could maybe use for me is that I try to look at people instead of fans. I look at them as viewers, right? Because doesn't necessarily imply the same type of worship as a fan does. You know, fan is obviously short for fanatic. So I don't like that. I treat all of my viewers and just people that are watching my stream as just like guys that I would probably maybe hang out with or not. And if certain people I feel are being too attached in a way that I feel is unhealthy, and you know, in terms of like, I guess what you would call a parasocial relationship, that's definitely not something that I want to promote. But I think that having a healthy relationship with your viewers, and even having that be a one-on-one thing, is completely okay, as long as the people that are going into it both have the same level of expectation.
I'd go and I'd do like a pickup group with Asmon, and like I said, I'd add these people on B-Tag after, and they just over time became like my regular WoW friends, and I wouldn't have met them if it weren't for Asmongold, which I think is something that I can't really say for a lot of other streamers.
But when attracting dozens of thousands of live viewers, there's only so much interaction one person can provide.
I had fears that one day I'm just going to fall off and I'm not going to be entertaining anymore, and that people aren't going to want to watch me, or that people aren't going to like me.
Mizkif is one of the largest streamers on Twitch, but unlike Asmongold and many others, he got to that position in a very short amount of time.
When I feel like people like me, Poke, Greek, XUC, we have this relatability of people that they feel like they could be friends with, people that they feel like they could know, and that makes them more inclined to watch us over other people. I think the reality is this: when it comes to Twitch, you can never blame the viewers. You can't blame 10,000 people. Like, it's just not a thing. You can't blame your chat for anything, because the reality is you are in control, and you have to be able to figure out what to do and what not to do.
For Mizkif and many other popular streamers, the viewers are a collective known as the chat. Representing the sometimes tens of thousands of people watching, the chat room is a living reaction to everything a streamer is saying.
So if I put coal there, and I put iron there, PogChamps in chat occur.
Interestingly, that audience also seems to attract some viewers with similar goals to the streamer, where being noticed and acknowledged by the streamer amongst thousands of other viewers provides an elevated level of attention and validation they seek out.
Oh yeah, I type a lot. You could ask a streamer like Mizkif or Poco, because they are very fond of me typing a lot in chat, because I'm VIP in there. A lot of viewers are sometimes annoyed by me, or they love me a lot because I can be really entertaining to the chat.
I think having a streamer notice you in chat is always interesting, just in general. Makes you feel good or something.
He turned his head, he looked me straight in the eye!
The chat can be a source of great confidence and support, but it can also be a source of great distress and headache, as Mizkif explained to me.
But I think some people that really try to get a friend out of me are people that donate to me like crazy, right? Like, you'll have some of these guys that gift me thousands and thousands of dollars in gifted subs or in general, and those people want either a lot of attention, which is why they do it, or they typically want to be my friend, right? They're trying to buy their way into my life. I've had multiple people give me tons of money, and they're like, hey, dude, do me a favor. Can you host me afterwards? Or, hey, dude, can you do me a huge favor? Can you, just I answer my DMs, and they start DMing me. And then what am I going to do? You know, I feel guilty that this guy's giving me thousands of dollars, and I'm not going to just answer his messages. But over time, it becomes more and more and more that they're just trying to bother me and just trying to get my attention constantly. And that's not, you can't, just because you give me money doesn't mean I'm going to be your friend or play games with you or hang out with you. That's not how it works, you know?
In my own experiment, having just a few hundred active viewers made it nearly impossible to engage with people in the chat on an individual level. This is where the call to response type relationship with viewers arises from. How old is everybody in here? Type your age in the chat. Go ahead, type your age in the chat. I want to know how old each of you guys are. 54, 21, 23, 25. Nice. You guys are kind of in my age range.
Good job.
Oh, no, Smart, dance game, key emoji, firehouse emoji, upwards arrow, backwards arrow, dance game, what face.
This type of communication turns individual viewers into a collective hive mind. Even before the popularity of live streaming, this type of linear communication was used by TV shows, especially children's cartoons.
¿En qué camino está la casa de los osos? ¿En el camino rojo o azul? ¿Rojo o azul?
Taking this a step further, a lot of streamers will use terms like we or us when addressing their chat because they want viewers to feel like they are part of the same collective group as the streamer.
We do what we do, and I say we because it is a community thing. It is an us thing. It's not just me, it's we, right? Because I can only do half of it. The other half is you guys coming in and watching, right?
We need our handy dandy notebook.
With the Twitch Prime, we hit 15,000!
We're going to the bear's house with a very sleepy bear.
However, despite this type of language, the streamers are very much in their own social bubble. Popular streamers are on a virtual stage, and the audience is watching from their seats. If your job was to broadcast for several hours every single day to thousands of viewers, you too might develop an unhealthy view of yourself in relation to others.
Lost all of my connections to people, so I just very lonely a lot. It's sad, but that's just how it is. When you got to make a lot of sacrifices, and if you're not already in a relationship before you start streaming or during streaming, then it's really hard to find someone new when you haven't been outside in a very long time.
Streamers in general, and I think YouTubers are in our own bubble because our world does revolve around us. As much as we don't want to say that, it does. And I stopped talking to my grandma as much as I wish I did, and she died recently, and I was like, crap. Like, I definitely should have called her more. I definitely could have done more stuff, but I'm just so obsessed with my job that it stopped that. And then I also don't call my family as much because of streaming constantly.
Having thousands of people regularly watching you also tends to make them very invested in your personal life.
These viewers became obsessed with our relationship. Obsessed. It was bad. And I hated it. I absolutely hated how obsessed these viewers came about my relationship. I didn't realize how much of an impact it would have. And a lot of YouTube channels started to take our videos and were like, oh my god, Maya and Mizkif talked, and they were getting like 250,000, 500,000 views. And all it was talked about on live stream fails and Twitch was me and Maya. Yeah, it definitely affected my community pretty hard.
Streamers are just one of many different types of celebrity to experience these highs and lows. A celebrity's ego and sense of importance is inflated by the attention of others, while at the same time their personal life evaporates away, being absorbed by that same attention. I spoke with one final popular streamer who has a trait that separates him from his peers. Connor Eats Pants doesn't just tell his viewers that he's one of them, he actually embodies that role without showing his body at all. Connor doesn't use facecam on stream, and so the level of separation between him and his viewers is far less.
I'm the everyman streaming, you know? I feel like maybe in some way not having a cam makes it more of like a collaborate, like you feel more involved, like you're active, like you're seeing your chat messages go on the screen with other people. It's like, this isn't just watching Connor, this is a group of people enjoying this and making the stream happen.
The way Connor got into Twitch also seems to reflect the reasons many of his viewers have done the same.
The reason I always came to streams is the same reason that I stream. I came to streams because I wanted either something on in the background, something that is funny in the chat that I can mess around in, basically just forget about my day and relax and have a good time. And so now I try to provide that same thing to others. And so my intention, I would say, is never to have people unhealthily live through me, I guess. I've always put out my stream to be for people like me.
As a viewer, Connor sought out Twitch because it was an escape from his real life. But now, as a streamer, it's the real world which he occasionally feels the need to escape into.
It's almost on a reverse now, where like I get afraid if I ever screw up online, I want to be able to escape back to my real life and just turn off the computer or something. I mean, that's obviously a fear. Not that I do anything bad, but you see people just get absolutely destroyed on the internet for a mistake, and it's like, oh man, like that's a scary thought.
And that same escapism is what fuels the desires of many Twitch viewers who spend significant portions of their lives sitting there, watching streams and trying to participate in these online communities.
How much time do you spend on Twitch, like on average a day or a week, if you can estimate that?
Probably like 4 to 5 hours a day, so a week would be 35 hours, because I try to avoid people like the plague.
I do spend a good amount of my time watching streams. Back when I was like playing WoW, I'd have them on in the background, especially Asmongold, so they'd be on for a long time.
I think over the past 3 years I've used up a lot of my time on Twitch, and it's made me feel very different, I guess. I don't know how to describe it. Like I've lost a lot of time just sitting there trying to be dedicated to Twitch channels.
I would say that having friends is way better than having the attention, because you have people that you can actually talk to and get good attention from, instead of like the attention for like 2 seconds that you get that doesn't really mean anything.
The experience of these viewers isn't so different from Connor's, it's not so different from Mizkif's, and it's not so different from people I know who spend all day watching streams or videos. And that's not to say that spending time online is always bad, or that there aren't great things that can come of your time spent in these online communities, because there certainly are.
And then over time, it's like I was part of a bunch of groups. I found a bunch of amazing people. I ended up incredibly luckily meeting an amazing group of streamers. It got to the point where we've met together like at least 10 times easily. We go to conventions together. I realized that the names behind the screen can turn into an actual real life friend. There's no difference between real life friend and name on screen. You can reach the same level of intimacy.
Forming meaningful relationships online is possible. I myself have made many good friends after spending years of my life in various online communities. I've even met friends in person many times who live thousands of miles away, and some of my closest friends are online friends. But admittedly, forming long-lasting relationships can be difficult. The physical distance between people online will always add an extra layer of separation. In my own life, where I work and communicate with others online, it's a daily struggle to balance time spent looking at screens and time spent in the present. Underlying the issue of online parasocial relationships is a global shift in human communication that no one was prepared for. The world has changed so much, but people have not. We still seek out communities, companions, and camaraderie, even if it's through a screen. The social opportunities that were once afforded to the previous generations have all but eroded away. Social gatherings, public venues, and face-to-face interactions that were once the foundations of community are rapidly fading away in place of more logistically efficient methods. The people and places of the past are the virtual friends of viewers today. Humans themselves are slowly being written out of the equation. The great challenge of technology and our time is in emerging from the chasm of isolation, which is so easy to fall into, and instead form connections that we can find meaning in.
We have no Great War, no Great Depression. Our Great War is a spiritual war. Our Great Depression is our lives.
Topics like this interest me because for years I've experienced what I'm talking about, and I know many others who have as well. I've been a viewer, I've even been a streamer, but I find the most meaning in making these kinds of videos, even if it takes the most amount of time and effort to do. I don't have any sponsors. I actually think that they cheapen the message of a good video, so I might as well sponsor myself. I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to all the patrons who support me, which you can see here. And I would also like to thank everyone I interviewed: Mizkif, Asmongold, Connor, Kazooie Girl, Bobber, AntPlayz, Zaz, Poco, and Peter. I will be uploading some of these interviews to my second channel in full, and they were very interesting, insightful conversations that I think you'll enjoy. I also want to give a shout out to my friend VH21 for helping a lot with research and finding clips for this video. And I want to thank you guys, the viewers, for watching my stuff and supporting me in any way that you can. Until next time, I wish you guys the best of luck on your journey through the internet. Just don't spend too much time watching other people.